welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hope you're all well. If you've tuned in to this video notification that I've uploaded and you're expecting a Helix or a Fractal or a guitar video, that is coming soon. Apologies for all the late uploads as well, because you know, life's been getting in the way. So we're going to get this bike video done and dusted, get that sorted, and yeah, then we'll crack on with some more music stuff. So this absolute behemoth of a bike is the BMW R1200 GSA. It's the Adventure, obviously, because it's got the A at the end. I will refer to my previous Triumph Tiger quite a bit in this video, mainly because the Triumph is the reason that I bought this BMW. So let's start at the beginning as to why I bought it. So last year I uploaded a video of me riding in Scotland on the Triumph 1050. Now that bike was completely perfect in every way, to a point, which makes it not completely perfect, I suppose. Whatever. All the way there on the motorway, the Triumph was faultless. But what happened was the sat-nav on the Triumph on my phone kind of threw me off track a little bit, and I ended up going from Loch Lomond to Fort William, and on this like really weird kind of back roads where I ended up on like gravel tracks, mud, grass. It was wet and slippy and shitty and horrible, and the Triumph Tiger did not like that. Now on paper the Triumph Tiger and the BMW are both adventure bikes, but the Triumph Tiger is not an adventure bike. It's just not. Oh, look at me leaning over like Valentino Rossi on a BMW GS. Who am I? What had happened was I ended up on this like dirt track, and I thought, if I drop this Tiger now, I'm going to be really pissed off. I will be properly fuming. And you know, because the Triumph is a nice lovely clean bike, but you can do nothing really to the suspension at the time to kind of help you out. Yes, all you YouTube mechanics will be sitting there now going, well actually what you should have done was took a spanner and a screwdriver and set your sag and blah, 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 you know, all that shit. No, it's not an adventure bike. It looks like one, but it isn't one. Maybe the 1200 Explorer is. I don't know, I haven't tried one of them yet. And I'm not going to, because then I'll probably end up selling this and fucking buying one of them, because I'm a bit of a knob. I need a bike that I'm going to use and abuse, not be too bothered about keeping it completely crystal clean. People that know me personally know that I scrub and clean all of my bikes within an inch of their life. They look brand new when I come to sell them, because that's just what I do. I know if it had gone on the BMW 1200, if it had gone over, I wouldn't have been too bothered. I'd have been slightly pissed off, but I wouldn't have been too bothered. I wouldn't have been obsessing that it was going to fall apart. You know, this is what these were for. Is that a fucking peacock or a pheasant? Oh, look at that. Man of my own business. Don't want to scare him, because he'll do that. So back when Ewan and Charlie did that whole inside out, upside down shenanigans, that really kind of sparked the interest for everybody, and everybody wanted to do the adventure thing. But I think as time has gone on, the adventure bike community, I've got a little bit of a bad rap for being, you know, men in their 40s into their 50s and older again. We've got a bit of money that they'll spend 19.5 grand on a BMW, and I did say in a previous video, 2 or 3 previous videos, that I didn't want to spend almost 20 grand on a Beamer. So this one is a 2012, I think that makes it a Mark III. It's not the water cooled, it's last of the oil air. 1200 GSA, it's got everything on it. It's got the deflectors, the wind deflectors, the heated grips, the ESA, which I'd heard mixed reviews about the ESA. Sometimes it throws a little bit of a wobbler, but this one's been totally fine. You know, me and the wifey have been out on this and she loved it because it's comfortable and it sets all the sag and the height and everything. It's great. It's got a few different rider modes, which I think on something like this that is that big you probably will end up using, whereas previously I've said before with some bikes, especially the Kawasaki ZR 1400, you had a few different rider modes for the experience and it was a load of shit. But with this, obviously, if you're going to get a little bit off track and you know, go across a mountain bit of green laning or whatever, you probably are going to start titting about with your suspension. Why did I buy it? I always wanted one, to be honest. This was the bike that really appealed to me for, you know, that lone adventure rider, because a lot of the time, I'm not going to lie, I like to ride on my own. I don't really like going out riding with people because most of my mates, and they won't get pissed off when they see this because they know what I'm like as a person, they all ride a lot quicker than me. They're all experienced lads, they're all fast riders, and that's not my thing. They like to go out and they get a bit of a lick on, you know, and that's okay, that's great, and I like to kind of stay back and observe because I've done all that. I'm 51, don't really want to be throwing it round the corners too quick anymore. I kind of like to have a look around and see what's going on. So the thing with the BMW, I think, especially the GSA and the GS, is there's two types of riders, two types of owners. There is the guy that is, you know, probably a little bit older, he's got a bit of money in the bank, and he will go out and spend 20 grand, fully kitted out with absolutely everything. He'll get the hard panniers, the soft panniers just in case, the sat-nav, every conceivable add-on he will put on that bike, and then he'll go out on a Sunday and park it outside a fucking coffee shop. That's one type of BMW GS owner. The second guy is the guy that buys one, throws some necessary add-ons to it, and then just pisses off to France. Doesn't really get too concerned about washing it, keeping it clean or whatever. That's your other type of owner. For me, if you go back on previous bike videos, I had talked about developing hip pain in my right hip, and this was a problem that I was getting on a lot of bikes. I had it on the ZR 1400, the Honda Pan, that was kind of starting to give me jip as well. The Triumph Tiger, I briefly had it, and I got one of them soft air cushion things that you would sit on. Stops you getting piles as well, apparently. And the Triumph just started giving me a little bit of jip now and then. If I was in the saddle for, you know, 2 hours, I thought, oh, here we go. But this one, I mean, I was out on this for 4 hours when I first got it. Nothing. I think the ergonomics of the way that this bike is just really suits me. Just suits me. Suits my manly shape. And by that I mean chubby. So should you buy a GS? Should you be buying a GSA? Well, I think now's the time to do it, and the reason for that is BMW obviously just announced their 1300 because everybody needs an extra 50cc apparently. I don't see the need to upgrade because bikes now have gone a little bit like phones. They make it to the point where you go, oh, well, it's got this on it now, so I need to buy that one. And really, you don't. We're actually going to talk about the indicator system now, because you would have heard the horn going off. This is without doubt the most stupidest design from BMW for indicators, and any GS owner will know now what I'm going to talk about. Rather than having your conventional indicator on one side where you will indicate left, cancel, indicate right, cancel, they've put an indicator switch on each side and a cancellation switch on the right hand side, which is a pain in the dick hole to try and turn off, because if you haven't got a long enough thumb like a fucking octopus, you can't get to it. So I've had to buy this extension thing which I fitted the other day. It's not too bad, it's not completely perfect, because if you watch me right hand, I've still got to kind of do this, whereas with this it was just that. On the left hand side it's just you're moving your thumb. With the right hand side you've physically got to take your hand off the throttle to turn it off. Even with that extension thing on, it's a fucking pain in the arse. So 2013 I think they went back to the conventional because somebody clearly in the board of directors of BMWs kicked in a door and gone, who is responsible for this design? Who did it? David, was it you? Get out! Get out now! You sacked, you fired, get out, David! You know, because he was kind of an Arnie with a high-pitched voice. Get outside. It's flawed, totally flawed. I've never seen such a bad design. Get out, David. Get outside now. Going off topic there, Arnie was a bit of a weird actor, wasn't he? So they go, hey, okay, Arnold, you're going to be in pain. Make noises like you're in pain. Okay. Okay, Arnold, scene 3. You're happy to see your wife. Okay, no problem. Okay, Arnold, we're gonna have sex. Yes, no problem. That was his fucking dialogue. So is now the time to buy a GS BMW? I would say so. I think prices can be a little bit kind of like this, you know, but you kind of get what you pay for. You're obviously going to pay slightly more if you get all them add-ons in the second-hand market. I paid £7 grand for this, and it had all the luggage. I've took the back side boxes off because you don't need the full adventure fucking kit on it to go to work, do you? Let's be honest. I left the top box on because obviously I keep cameras and waterproofs and whatever else in there. This has got spotlights, heated grips, the wind deflectors, came with the full luggage, sat nav, which is kind of unusual to buy one that's still got the sat nav on. I will say as well, this sat nav is terrible. I've had to buy a shield for it because you can't see the screen. It's shit. It's not good. So I've got the mount for the phone, and the phone will do its job for sat nav or whatever, and this will just be like a bit of a backup. It's on. I don't even know why it's on, to be honest. I'm not even looking at it. I think it just looks cool. Look at me on my adventure bike going round the block to make a YouTube video. Right, so just quickly pulled over somewhere really quiet. GoPro's probably in super view, so the bike might seem far away. So just as a tip, if you are going to buy one of these, there's a couple of things that you need to look out for. Engine corrosion and how far it's gone, because this one has got engine corrosion. The exhaust as well was a little bit corroded, but I've kind of dealt with that. I've gone at it with a wire brush on a drill. The extenders on the mudguards, that's an absolute need, and at the back as well there's one called the mud sling, which protects the rear shock. Check for corrosion in all of, you know, the top places. It's not a major problem, it's just a disappointment, I think, with BMWs, that they make this phenomenal bike but it's actually a bit of a rot box. But deal with it, you know. This bike looks totally different to when I actually picked it up because everything was rusted to shit on it. It was a bit of a mess, but I could see the potential behind it because I'm an obsessive cleaner. So yeah, obviously the cover at the back as well for the back wheels, sometimes they go missing, especially if people think that they're adventure riders, they can snap off and then they're just not there. So get that. See if you can find one with luggage, because the BMW luggage is phenomenally expensive. It's just ridiculous. Keep an eye on the heated grips, and if you can, try and find a 2013, because this indicator system is fucking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it. Oh, and finally, headlight cover. That's not the best one, but it's the one that I found that was quick and cheap. I could get it next day, because the front headlights on these cost an absolute fortune to replace. There's a few other little guards on there as well. Throttle potentiometer cover. I think that's about it. it's good that I found one that was fully kitted out, and I am very, very happy with it. Is it better than the Triumph? As a general day-to-day road bike, it's alright, but that's not its purpose for me. It's going to be, well, yeah, I go to work on it, but it's going to be, you know, a distance bike, and I'm going to go to Scotland, and then I'll go further afield probably next year. I think we're planning probably next year to do the NC500, and then at some point possibly get into France. So yeah, there you go. Alright, just a quick video. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you being here. We'll be back with more, you know, guitar stuff and helix stuff and fractal stuff soon. Take it easy. See you later. Adventure Guy!